Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a good afternoon and getting to hear all these talks and learning from some people. I'm not here to show and talk about my journey. I'm here to talk about how you can learn from the experiences that I have learned through my journey because we have limited time for that. And I just wanted to, bring up something, the topic of the discussion today is escaping the ordinary. Ordinary is easy. That's the hard reality. Ordinary is safe. Ordinary doesn't threaten. Ordinary has no challenges. Ordinary has no passion. Ordinary has no drive. And ordinary doesn't require faith. But I'm here to tell you a story today of a man who lived an ordinary life. He lived in a small city. He had a regular job and had a regular life. Would wake up early in the morning, get a cup of tea, read the newspaper, have breakfast, go to work, come back, spend time with the family, watch TV, watch news, go back to sleep. And what that next day, do the same thing again. Do the same thing again, and again, and again. His life just became a carbon copy of the previous day. But one day, he went to the local library, he dusted a book. So one day, he went to the library and he dusted a book from there that said, How to Become Extraordinary. That book actually had stories in it of people who achieved things in life, of musicians, of painters, of chefs, of many other people, sports people. As he was reading that book, something started talking to him. He says, you know what? I have been living my life in a one way. I can change myself because I want to be all of these people that I've read about. And as he started doing that, he started implementing that in his life. He started learning music. He started learning how to cook. He even started painting. And now he had a life which was not ordinary like every day. Every other day was not a carbon copy of the previous day. But when that started, everybody around him, his family, his friends, everybody said, you have changed so much. What's wrong with you? Because they were not used to that man. And there was a voice coming at him, yes, I should go back to my normal, what I'm doing with my life. It's different. But he listened to the inner voice and continued to live a life which was new for him. But at the end of his life, when he looked back, he was able to learn that I have achieved so much. I'm able to cook, I'm able to paint, I'm able to draw, I'm able to sing, I'm able to do so many different things. Because one day he decided that I am going to do something different. And my friends, that person could be you today. Get away from the ordinary life. Get away from what you've been doing all the time. Because you have been created for something more. Everybody sitting in this room has been created for something more. There's no two people who have the same DNA. So the Creator who created you, whoever the Supreme Being is, He's created you, and you have been created specially for a special purpose. That is something you need to find in yourself. You need to find a calling. You need to find a dream. You need to guess what you want to do with your life and follow it. You know why? Because you can do it. You have that in you. It's really important to get self-realization of understanding on how you can bring the change within yourself. And not looking for a change around you, but to change within yourself. That's what you need to do. It is about breaking the barriers. It could be barriers of culture, it could be barriers of society, it could be barriers of bringing up, how you were brought up, it could be barriers of language, it could be barriers, whatever it might be. My work has taken me throughout the world. I've been to over 75 countries. Been to so many sporting events because my company that I work for, my technology company, we provide technologies to most major events around the world. The last 9 Olympic Games, FIFA World Cups, Super Bowls, and all sorts of concerts and everything else. And you see, every time I'm in a place like that, I see it was ordinary people who chose a different path and did something extraordinary. My mind goes back to the first time I was running the technology for the Vancouver Olympic Games. And after the Olympics was over, there's Paralympic Games. And you see people in wheelchairs, people with special needs, and playing and just overcoming those challenges. How much easier it is for people who are able to do the same thing. All you need to do is escape. But my friends, you need to understand that you have been created for something extraordinary. You know, one more example I want to bring out here is Mother Teresa. A lot of us know her, right? She was born in a very middle-class family in a country called Albania. At the age of 18, she went from there and she became a sister. And she started, and then when she was in 1949, in a few years, she was sent to India to teach in a city called Calcutta. But when she came there, she saw people with needs. And she took a decision that she is going to stop doing what she was sent and told and sent to this country to do. But she wanted to go and serve the world. She set up her own organization and started serving the needy. And the rest is history on what she was able to achieve. We are all called for a purpose. You need to find it. But with that purpose, there's a cost to be paid. And there's a cost to be paid for greatness. Greatness doesn't come easily. You might have heard, we have to create a work-life balance. You have to understand how to manage everything. You need 8 hours of sleep. My friends, if you want to achieve anything in life, do not sleep for 8 hours. It can never happen. Because that's the ordinary. You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice money. You have to sacrifice time. You have to sacrifice relationships. You have to sacrifice comfort. And that is how you become great. Because if you continue to be in this state alive, that we have been all being taught from the time you're born. Do the right, do the ordinary, and you'll be fine. It doesn't happen. I want to tell you a story. I was just outside. There was a big basketball player. I won't take the name, but one of the greatest basketball players ever to walk this earth. And it was a night when they had just won the World Championship in Los Angeles. There was a big party. We were all in the party, and we were staying in the same hotel. At 7 o'clock, I was in the gym, and now I see this guy just walk in, the greatest player of all time. Just the next day after winning the World Championship, down in the gym, working out. I went, had lunch, he was still working in the gym. For 8 hours, he was practicing. Just after winning the World Championship, that is how champions are made. Pandit Ravi Shankar, one of the greatest sitarists, until the time he passed away, used to practice for 8 to 10 hours a day. He didn't need it, but that's how you become perfect. So whatever passion you have, you need to know how to follow it. Now, what we do see here is the biggest lie, which is ordinary, one of the biggest lies is that it's a lie in disguise. What we've been fed from the very beginning, when you're a small child, follow the rules, do what everybody else is doing, become a doctor, become an engineer, become an IAS, whatever, right? And life will be good, life will be happy. But today we have seen in so many people's lives, when they chose to follow the passion, life is better. Life is better. Ordinary is a lie in disguise. Society often glorifies being ordinary. But when you're following the crowd, you will be more lost. If you want to be the leader, let people follow you. You need to know how you can lead. But if you're part of the crowd, you will just be lost. Because that's what crowds do to you. If you see some of the extraordinary people in the society, look at Mahatma Gandhi, look at Albert Einstein, all of these people, they're all people who said, I want to do something different. That's how you become resilient. You learn resilience. You learn by failing. And every time you fail, you learn one other way on how something cannot be achieved. It's not a failure. You just learn how not to do something. So learn from your failures. Extraordinary is inside you, my friends. Everyone who is sitting here is extraordinary. And the extraordinary is in you. And with this, I want to just come to this part saying, how do you escape the ordinary to become extraordinary. First thing, break your routine. Break your routine. Start living a life with purpose. Believe in your story, and your story matters. Do not try to replicate somebody else's story, but try to create your own story. You know, the core message is that each individual who's sitting here is unique, and you have the potential to do something different, to do something great. And you have been sent on this earth for a different calling, for something unique. You need to figure it out. So that when you leave this place, this earth, you have something to lay. You have a legacy. You know, we keep hearing about this word, but you need to know how to create a legacy. Legacies are not made, legacies are created. Let's go back, you know, to the jungles, okay? I was recently in Africa, and there's a lot of animals, you know, the big five and everything. And I was just wondering, I was in a safari, and I was just wondering, everybody calls the lion the king of the jungle. Why? Is he the strongest? No. Is he the biggest? No. Is he the wisest? No. But why is lion the king of the jungle? There's one reason for that. Because lion believes he is the king. You need to believe in yourself. And with that, society is going to be with you. Lions have created a society for themselves where they know how to reign. They know how to handle the animosities within the jungle. They know how to break rules. They know how to bounce. They know how to roar. They know how to talk. They know how to walk. And that's what makes them the king of the jungle. So each one present here, you could be a king or a queen in your space. You just need to find that space for yourself. You know, extraordinary is within you. Mahatma Gandhi came from an ordinary background, became one of the first barristers, came back, created freedom for so many places, right? Taught freedom. Madame Curie, the first woman to win two Nobel Prizes in physics and chemistry. There's so many things that we can see in our history with Albert Einstein, with Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, with so many people you see within our society, within this age. People have made a difference. You've seen some of those people here on stage today who have made a difference. And the whole reason, the common factor between all of those people is they believe in themselves. They believe in their passion. They were ready to break the ordinary. They were ready to make yourself uncomfortable so that you can achieve what you have been called for. So if you are still going to be comfortable in whatever you're doing, you can never achieve what you really want to do. Because to break the ordinary, you need to be uncomfortable. You need to push yourself. You need to strive hard. You need to call hard. You need to know that you are going to make some enemies over the path. Some people are not going to like you because that's what the reality of life is, my friends. I just want to leave everybody here with a couple of thoughts and just understand that you just don't exist, you live. That's the difference between plants and humans. You just don't exist, but you live. I want to leave you with these thoughts today, that you were not born to be bled. You were not born to stay alone. You were born to stand out. You're born to reflect your Creator's image. So dream big, pray hard, work hard, take risks, and live loud. So escape the ordinary and live life the way you want to live. Thank you.